Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel. Today's video is going to be about the latest episode of Moon Knight, which is episode 5. If you have not seen the episode, please pause it. Please pause it and watch the video because there are spoilers ahead. I'm sorry about my demeanor. This episode, I just finished watching it and it's dark. Very dark. Darker than I was expecting. Even though I knew. So let me just preface it with this: I knew the comic book history of them, but I think what got me was the fact that they showed it, and they showed it in a way I wasn't prepared for. So anyway, things we found out in this episode: we found out how how Khonshu got the new avatar. We found out how Mark and Steven are related. We also found out about what's going on in the asylum. So a lot has happened. So I might be bouncing back and forth, and I do apologize. I'm just going to be breaking down the big stuff right now, mostly because this was an emotional episode, and yeah, it was very well done. I don't want anyone to think otherwise, but it was very well done. It was just, it definitely left you with a heavy heart. So we found out that they're not in an asylum. They're on the journey to have their scales being measured. So their hearts need to be measured to find out whether or not they're balanced enough to be able to go to paradise. So right now they're in the Egyptian underworld. Well, apparently humans can't deal with it properly, and because of it, they see it in a way that makes more sense to them. And so to these two, they are in an asylum, an insane asylum. And what they need to do is they need to look at their past to find out why they are the way they are and determine whether or not they can be balanced by the time they get to the end of the journey. And the hippopotamus goddess is there to help guide them to the best of her ability. I mean, she can't flat out tell them everything. She's got to let them do it on their own, but she can give some hints. So the reason why it looks like an asylum has to do with the fact that they can't comprehend, because of their mortal mind, can't comprehend what's going on in the in this particular plane. But what's funny that is mentioned by the hippo is that there's more dimensions of the dead where the mortals go than just that one. So it's definitely interesting to hear that, which means there's much more underworlds than we're prepared for. So anyway, let us continue on. Mark and Steven went into a room where everyone that they killed was in. And there was this little boy in it, and Mark basically told Steven, do not follow him at all. What happened was, it was his little brother. And during one day when there was a rainstorm, they decided to go in a cave. Mark convinced him to go to convinced them to go to the cave while it was raining, and unfortunately the little brother died in the cave. Mark's mother blamed him for it, called him every name in the book, beat him. It got to the point where he broke psychologically and created Steven. Steven was created to help deal with his negative emotions, so Steven had the happy life. Steven had the life where he thought his mother was the greatest person in the world and that she loved him. Wasn't the case. She broke mentally and blamed Mark for all of the pain. So that's how Steven was created. During this, Steven and Mark both break mentally, and when they do, they go back into the reality that they think that Harrow's in charge of the sane asylum, and it really emphasizes the point that because of their mortal mind not being able to comprehend their life, they go back to what was known to them, which was their fake reality inside of a fake reality, that they they created the insane asylum, which then made them deal with their problems in however it may be. So Mark has killed a lot of people. We also found out how Mark got the powers of Khonshu, which had to do with the fact that when his buddy went on a killing spree, he actually killed Mark too, or almost did. And Steven's like, Khonshu was taking like advantage of you, and he's like, well, I had to do what I had to do. And he was trying to defend Khonshu, but Steven wasn't having it. And so they continued on. So he was given the power of Moon Knight, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, a few months ago, their mother died. And that's where Steven and Mark kind of started blending together, apparently, according to Mark. And Mark was standing outside, drunk as a skunk, at his mother's funeral, not coming in, and turned into Steven, and they went on their way. And Steven was in control for a long time. And then we know what happened after that. So they get outside, and the scales still weren't balanced. So the hippo goddess apologizes, but their soul was going to be dragged into the sands of the damned. And so all these dead creatures made out of sand came up onto the boat and started dragging them across. So they start fighting. It's mostly Mark fighting in the beginning. Mark gets his butt kicked. Steven then starts going on a murderous rampage. Granted, they're made out of sand, so it's not like it's murder again. So he starts beating the shit out of them. And this continues on for a while. And they think they're safe. And another body grabs Mark. Steven pushes him off. Steven falls into the sands. And what happens is Steven turns into a statue. And Steven no longer exists, I imagine. The scales balance because Steven is no longer there. And Mark makes it into paradise. So, that was the end of the episode. It was dark as all heck. Wasn't prepared for it mentally, emotionally. But anyway, it was messed up. And where I think it's going to go is Mark is now in paradise looking for Khonshu to be able to be brought back to life. So the problem is he can be brought back to his body, but without his healing abilities, he's not going to be alive again. He's going to die. So it's not going to be helpful. So he's got to figure out how to get out of there. So I imagine he's going to look for Khonshu, and then he escapes, and he fights Harrow and as the first avatar of Atum. I'm going to go with Atum. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. There's only one episode left, so a lot's got to happen in this episode coming up. I'm hoping it's like a 4-hour episode, to be honest with you. Mostly due to the fact that I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. So a lot's going to happen in this last episode. Just a lot. So I'm excited, but also worried at the same time. But we'll have to wait and see. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree with me that this was an emotional episode? Or if not, let me know in the comments below. As always, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great night.